bad enough cook, you also can't tell the difference.
An astute observation, Corporal.
Oh, by the way, sorry. I mean, I threw a rank at you because I imagine that. Because to be fair, I only know like there's a private and corporal in a non-commissioned officer or non-officer rank, but I'm not sure there are like any other.
I don't either. I assume that given just the sheer amount of time that Friedrich's been serving, he has declined multiple promotions, and they've just kind of stopped trying to give them to him.
Sure, that works too.
It's just like, he could have been an officer, he didn't want to be an officer. So it's just, by this point, they just like keep finding new squads for him.
Okay. Maybe we would have taken a lesson or two at actually leading people. Looking at the skill check, but yeah, I'm fluff-wise, I'm fine with that.
Also, I don't even have lead actually.
So. Yeah, but that's the thing.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Also, for like sheer amount of time, like this guy's been serving for like 6 years. Why isn't he an officer yet? He declined, sir.
Yeah.
Hey, if I know anything about the U.S. military, it's if you can get a college degree, doesn't care how well you can lead, they'll make you an officer.
Yeah, because I imagine like this higher degree of education equals yeah, that's a whole other bag of worms to digest. Anyways, apart from the fact maybe this didn't like you were not said that at the briefing, but you can imagine that while you can have some equipment with you if it's like yours, but generally speaking, before going to the mission, you also like have to swing by the armory and get your not requisitioned, allocated supplies for the mission from the quartermaster.
I will do that and then head for the launching area.
Yeah, as this will be like happening in 30 minutes. Yeah, so I was gonna say that the rest of that short time before you have to gather up, you just spent on like checking on your troops, ensuring everybody is prepared, they do not miss anything, that they are properly motivated to do well in this mission. And then you swing by the armory. The usual quartermaster is not there, but the person filling for him is Master Sergeant Os Rhine. Cyan hair, blue eyes, early 30s, dark skinned, Afro-American descent. And even though he has higher rank than you, then he is not carefree, but he doesn't sound like as serious. He's mostly like, good luck. Hope you won't need it. But if you have to pick between luck and a good gun, it's better to have a good gun and rely on that.
Fuck, what was the guy's name from Borderlands? The one with all the guns?
I have bought the games, but I'm not sure if you're what the character you're talking
I mean,
Torque
I,
or
I'm
somebody
not,
else?
I was gonna say I'm not sure either. This is Borderlands. Everyone has guns. Even that annoying little robot has a gun.
Claptrap?
Oh, Marcus. That's the one. The one who sells all the weapons. For some reason, I got a Marcus vibe from that guy,
Mhm.
or from the staff sergeant.
Okay. Yeah, I cannot say I remember the character from Borderlands, so that's probably, well, similarity in not intended, I guess. Yeah, so like he exchanges, like a few words with each people, like offering a few words of support and encouragement. Something, sometimes like slightly darker jokes like, um, remember, do not die on the mission, because if you die, you do not bring this stuff back, and you cannot imagine what's the paper gonna be.
Do your job so I don't have to make more of mine.
No, but it's like that's mostly, this is like, trying to ease the tension, make people feel slightly more at peace, because while you only have Liz in your squad, Jackie, that's the fresh meat, the new guy that's slightly nervous. You do realize that other squads, other platoons also have their fair share of new guys, like reinforcements, that for quite a few of them this is like literally their first deployment. So some sort of what's the word, not danger, stress is expected.
Yeah. Always is.
Alright, so as you gather your supplies, your equipment, sorry, I'm gonna sneeze. Fuck. Okay, managed to hold it back. So you assemble the hangar bay, and as you are like stepping in, you see that First Lieutenant Aihara Sakura was talking with Major and other platoon commanders. And as your squad and the rest of your platoon is like stepping in, the platoon commanders like finish their discussion, and Lieutenant like comes up to your squad specifically, and says that we have a limited amount of drop pods, so platoons will be dropped to the planet in waves. And I have volunteered Alpha Company to act as a vanguard. And I want your squad, Sergeant, to be the one of the first transports to take part in the first wave.
Understood.
And by the way, to just give us like a slight explanation, when I'm saying cargo drop pod, I know like from Warhammer you might imagine this is like one way, well, drop pod, orbital quick insertion behind enemy lines. but in starts with a number. The way it is described, drop pod is basically an armored and stealth version of cargo lighter, and that is a shuttle basically, like this transport vehicle a la what Normandy had. Not Mako, but the shuttle that they were using to move from Normandy to a planet.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so there's basically like a shuttle, like a small transportation vehicle that can carry up to like 10 or 20 people if they have like upgrades that improve the amount of like room or life support. I want you, and Lieutenant is speaking. When you hit the LZ, secure it. Wait for the second wave, and when the second wave will arrive, they will relieve you, and you will move up to the settlement that's the closest to the research base. Just conduct a brief investigation. What's the status of the settlement? Report anything unusual. You will receive further orders if needed. But if the settlement will not offer any new opportunities or information, you will continue to move towards the base, and you will secure the entrance. Understood?
Understood, Sergeant. Or, sorry, first. Then.
Yeah, I know you said like the proper rank. Very well. Assemble near your transport.
Yes,
Near your transport.
Friedrich will indeed go stand next to his transport.
Jackie will make sure everybody is gathered up and do the same.
Okay. Soldiers are like, one final check of the magazine. Loaded, safe. Magazines, grenades, armor, all working. Medkits, Lazarus patches.
Alright, men, keep your eyes downrange, fingers on the triggers, and we all come home in one piece.
Ooh.
Am I right, Marines?
Ooh. Sadly, the only thing I can remember now is like from the Company of Heroes. Who the ladies love the most? Airborne! Who the Nazis fear the most? Airborne! Actually, just before you get inside, the shuttle's engines ignite and you will be leaving the ship. Actually, would that be Les or James? Yeah, actually, James. Well, I wouldn't worry about that too much, but while we're at the canteen with Abram and Casper, some people were mentioning that there is one more guy from Cobra Squad. Most were thinking there's only like 5 of them, but they're saying like the 6th one was somewhere else, and they saying he's their bomb maker. And I kinda need to wonder what they need a dedicated bomb guy.
Probably to blow things up.
And Casper is like, well, I wouldn't worry about that. As long as we are not nearby. I like big explosions. Big explosions are nice. Especially when you can see them through the closed eyelids. Yeah. And Abram is like, you and your preferences. Hey, what can I say? And James is like, I don't know. Maybe there are like just rumors. And I guess Kojiro is like, do not lose focus. There is much uncertainty about this mission, but as long as we are certain of our abilities, our comrades, and our leader, and then he like gives a small bow towards the sergeant, we will prevail.
That we will.
All right. Prepare to move out. Find a nice seat. Tighten your seatbelts.
Alright, sit down and secure your shit.
My shit is secured. This suit comes with a bathroom. But you mean I shouldn't do that Master Chief move where he gets into the drop pod with a bunch of Marines, doesn't buckle in, and for whatever reason, they're all dead by the time they hit the ground?
So that's how they all died.
Yes, because you weren't wearing a seatbelt. Did you ever play Halo 1, Matt?
Yeah. Bitch, I grew up with Halo 1.
So I'm asking Matt, not you.
Not the whole game. A very long time ago, mostly demo. I have bought the Master Chief Collection on Steam, but as with many other games, I have yet to play it.
So basically, first mission, you do it, you get an escape pod, you hop off the ship, there's a bunch of Marines on the ship. Makes sense, right? There's a crash landing, no one survives but you. You were also not wearing a seatbelt while entering an atmosphere. In a small, like, tin can, basically.
I mean,
Tin can doing a crash landing, by the way.
I mean, you are the fucking Master Chief.
Yes, well, the joke is that everyone's not dead because you just kind of bounced around the tin can. And that is also why it crashed.
Yeah. Give me a second, it's already bright outside. I need to turn off my light. Just a second.
Like, no one else survived. I wonder why. Mister, did it put on a seatbelt?
Mr. Pinball.
You notice he learns his lesson, though. In the end of it, he does buckle into the bomber thing.
Okay. Okay, back. So, as you are leaving the ship, for most of you, this is not a new sight, because if you are part of the military, then obviously you saw a planet from space. But as usual, the sight is definitely something, as below you can see a lush green world with green and blue, because there's also plenty of water. Like plenty of like water sources. And as the vessel does a not slow, but starts sliding
Controlled.
into the approach to pass the atmosphere without burning, the ship, as usual, even though this is sci-fi, so there are like some slight turbulence. But the pilot this is not his first rodeo. And I think, I mean, as you are dropping by, I would say that this side of the planet there is like a day, so you cannot exactly tell from space if the settlements have like lights on. There are no, like, good news, there are no visible signs of catastrophe from space. So that's something. And as you are dropping by on your like radio, because at this point all of you are already like suited up, either in powered armor or combat field uniforms, and like better here. So on the like squad radio, like intercoms, the pilot goes in. Weird. Picking up some unusual radio transmissions as you like as you have broken through the atmosphere, patching it through. And at first there's like a lot of static and just like no words coming through, but then very faintly you hear something that resembles a chant. Unity in flesh, unity in flesh. And then there's like and then transmission drops out, and the pilot is wonder what the fuck is that about.
Hmm.
Oh well, maybe somebody playing a prank or something.
Not sure. But it's a bad one if that is so.
Yeah. Well, so far,
Would we know if the ship would be able to pick up these transmissions?
you do not. Maybe you are not sure. Technically, if the ship has scanners, then probably. If you want, you may assume that they also picked it up. Assuming that these transmissions were happening beforehand.
It could have also, out of character, it could have also been like too weak of a signal to reach the ship in orbit.
That's also another possibility. Though the only reason I like hesitated is that like in the book, like some ships, there's like this survey scanner, like basically planetary scanner that as a module that can improve the amount of information that's gathered. But I'm not sure if that ship would actually have it. And
Well, they
like,
have. They have to be able to pick up our signals, so maybe.
Yeah, but that's your like your network, your technology.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, actually you will have like communications, unless, but we'll see. Yeah, pilot is well. Two other transports also picked it up, so at the very least it's not a isolated incident. But nobody's healing us, nobody's firing at us, so that's a plus in my book. Alright, approaching the surface now. Okay, there are like small clearing, forest all around, scanning, no life forms detected. You should be good, and obviously like you have the topographical information, so you'll know in which direction you'll have to go towards the settlement.
Understood.
All right. And as the like through the like front window, like the surface, like the more and more details of the surface come like visible, and then with a swift turn, the ship loses some of its momentum, and you feel as you're like setting down, and obviously pilot is like disembark in 15 seconds, and at this point you can, you know, seatbelts off, stand up, weapons in hands. All right.
Yeah.
Right. Alright,
Let's
man,
go.
move out.
Yeah.
Let's go shoot some monsters.
Touchdown. The ramp at the back lowers down quickly. All right, move it out. Move out.
I will go first.
Do I have to
I'm-
make a lead check to make sure everybody stays information and such?
At this point, no.
Alright.
I just assume big guy armor probably goes first.
Up to you. I'm fine with that.
Alright, so, what's it? Frederick, Casper, and Abram. Secure the landing zone. Make sure everything is clear.
Understood. Copy that.
I'm already like halfway out the door as he says this.
Yeah, you're basically like doing XCOM style of disembarking from Skyhawk. Weapons up, scanning the perimeter, setting up the 360 defensive formation.
Don't call this XCOM. I could have the best to hit roll in the world, and I'll just keep getting ones.
I mean, it actually works because this is D20 mechanic. Sadly.
You have a 99% chance to hit. Miss, 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 miss.
All right.
RNG my ass.
Yeah, as you secure the landing zone and like you take a moment to like scan your surroundings, and the shuttle like goes up, and the sound of the space engine like disappears in the distance. You realize how eerily quiet this forest is, and it's actually, let's say, the distance itself, it's about 2 kilometers away from the settlement. That's the closest. Just playing it safe, that's the closest that they have gotten you. And yeah, according to Google, 2 kilometers is like 1.24 miles.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're that far away from a settlement. And yeah, you realize that how eerily quiet it is. Because from the looks of it, this actually, the nature here is like, should be lush. I mean, the trees are very much bright green. It's almost like a jungle, but not really. But the forest is
Now,
definitely...
is this a terraformed world or is it natural?
In character, I would say that you probably wouldn't know. I
Okay.
don't see how you'd be able to tell a difference, because even if it was terraformed, most of the colonization and terraforming was happening about 700 years ago,
That's fair.
during the golden age of Terran Mandate, when they were colonizing this region.
That's fair.
And I'm not really like at this point, I'm not sure if it would seem fake even if it was terraformed.
That's also fair.
Yeah, so you would imagine that you would hear sounds of wildlife, because obviously with so much like flora, there will be also some fauna, like birds, maybe some other animals. And sure, you might think that the sound of a shuttle engine that wasn't quiet like scared them off, but still, like, apart from your movement and the occasional like wind, the forest is quiet. You do not hear any animals in the distance.
I mean, they could have been chased away by all the excavation or whatever the village was doing.
Perhaps. And Liz is like, fucking hell. Is it only me or is anybody else getting the creeps already? And Hautala, like Gideon Hautala, like grunts, only you.
Alright, happy thoughts, Lise.
But yeah. Yeah, so far you are holding the landing zone for the second wave to arrive. And nothing will happen until they arrive, and as the second wave will swing by, you will be relieved and you'll be able to move out towards the settlement. So until that happens, like, do you want to mention something else or do something? Do some kind of skill check if you want, or can we like flash forward to like as you are moving towards the settlement?
I'm personally fine moving on.
Well, have I showed everybody my the picture of my family?
God damn it.
This is my wife, and we're about to have our first son.
Multiple times, sir.
If you see Full Metal Alchemist, he's kind of like Mace Hughes in that regard.
Yeah, I know. I mean, this is... You're basically like ticking off every trope, every death flag trope in existence right now.
Well, he sadly can't, as being Asian, can't do the token black one.
But hold on, am I the token minority of the group?
Yeah, there's a couple Asians.
Alright.
Of your squad, no, because Kojiro, Izuhara Kojiro is like Japanese descent. Your...
Remember, the black guy dies first, last, or survives.
Yeah.
And if the black guy doesn't die first, it's generally the asshole that does.
Okay.
Alright, in that case, I'm going to try to do a survive check to see if there's anything else amiss
Alright.
in the nature. So
Yeah. If you can,
would
like,
that
find
be
any tracks.
survive with wisdom
Or intelligence.
or intelligence?
DC. DC of 7.
7.
Alright. Yeah, as I start moving around the area, and that's, let's say, several minutes before the second wave arrives, you actually do notice a lot of tracks. They are not old, but they are also not like super fresh. This happened recently, but recently as in not a couple hours ago, but more like a couple days ago, like day 2, 3, maybe 4. But there has definitely been a lot of movement, and it seems like with your like ability to track and figure this out, it seems like there was like a large pack of animals that were running away from the settlement and the base. Like they were going in the opposite direction than the settlement and the base. And you do notice something else, and it takes you, and you probably find it just as the rest of the squad can see the shuttle that's approaching. You notice at the edge of on the open field, and when the forest begins, patches of dried blood. And other tracks that are human. They do not like animals, they are like human tracks. And you see that something's been dragged roughly in the direction of the settlement.
So either a hunting party or no. So how much blood are we talking about? Are we talking about just like from a bullet wound, or are we talking about a massive amount?
Definitely like more than less. Because yeah, you only needed 7 to find it, so but like maybe it was like slightly hidden from the landing zone, like maybe behind like a tree or a bush. But yeah, it seems like something was like definitely hit with weapon. Like there are like some sprays typically like that you get from being hit by a bullet and exit wounds. But it definitely seems like there are like more. Like instead of hitting animal once, if this was a hunting party, it was struck several times and it was bleeding out for a while.
Mm.
All right. As a medical professional, could I see roundabout if this would be enough blood to kill, be enough to kill one person, or just checking by the amount of blood?
You don't need to roll. This definitely is an animal blood, and probably it was like a, judging from the tracks and using your medical knowledge, it was like a larger animal. So this probably was a larger animal, and it had a lot of blood. So yeah, this was like a single animal that was struck multiple times, and it was like bleeding for a while.
All right. So
If they were playing the hunter, they did not get Even a bronze medal.
Yeah, no. Lovely work. This settlement should. I mean, out of character, do we have anything like replicators or something that, creates food?
I mean, there are like food production facilities, possibly. Actually, yeah. I mean, you do not have like this is not full transhumanism, and resources can be scarce. Because the full psionic replicators existed during the Terran Mandate, so before the Scream, and they allowed many worlds to become essentially self-sufficient, and they could have produced every supply you needed. And now, obviously, you have like the regular means of procuring food. You have greenhouses, maybe like fake food production, like synthetic food production facilities if needed. Sometimes, if the world is not that technologically advanced, hunting is also possible. Although it's a rarity. If hunting happens, it's mostly for sport or enjoyment instead of actually, getting food to survive.
Hmm. Yeah, once the second wave would arrive, I would probably point out the spot where he saw the dried out blood. Before they start uh, wandering towards the village.
Abram and Casper also comment, yeah, sloppy work.
Yeah.
Yeah, might as well check out what's going on, eh?
Well, unless they, judging by the amount of blood, it could have been some drunken fool testing out a new weapon for his name's day or something, testing it out on the local wildlife. Although we cannot be sure, so assume any villagers are armed and possibly dangerous.
Alright. Better safe than sorry. Also, now I remembered as a DM that there was definitely one thing that would have been either mentioned on briefing, or you would have that as a part of your briefing package. Because military, fucking rules of engagement. So yeah, rules of engagement are as follows. At least for now, at the start, do not fire unless fired upon, or unless you are in like direct or about to be in direct danger.
Understood.
That was like, in the package that said about the at least for now. If the situation will escalate, then these rules will be adjusted accordingly.
All right. In that case, men, eyes open. Don't want any more surprises.
Understood. And yeah, the officers from the squad that just arrived from the second wave. Alright, first squad, Alpha Platoon reporting in. Second wave has landed. Sergeant Nguyen, your people can move out.
Understood. Heading towards the village now.
Okay.
As he calls for the others to follow.
Okay, as you begin to move in your usual formation, because I was like, you don't have to know the military formations. So I assume you just pick the most appropriate for the situation. After all, you have. Let me double check your skills. I mean, you have lead on +1, so and no on +1, so you no +0. Okay, so but still you have like basics. You know how to like put your men in a formation. So as you begin to move through the forest, trying to be careful, not rushing through, because it is a forest, so you know you don't want to suddenly cause a huge sound, like huge noise by, you know, toppling a tree or something like that. Just wait. If needed, I will call out for rolls.
As I say, I will be sticking through the woods, trying to not crush things like you said.
Yeah, but as I said, if it will be needed, I will be calling out for rolls. And yeah, as you are beginning to move out, it's actually the tracks, the trail of blood that you have found before. It's still dried, and it's getting like there were like some portions of time when either the animal was bleeding less or not bleeding at all. There are like some, you know, inconsistencies, and it is not always on, but it does provide you an like, you know, additional confirmation in which direction you should go. And actually, before you reach the settlement, as you know, somewhere deeper part in the forest, throughout the trees on a smaller hill, like slight, you know, heightened position, you can make me a notice check, both of you.
Yeah, I'm guessing the force is just as silent on the way there. Notice. Just waiting for the roll to appear. Oh, not good.
Yeah. At first you do not like. It doesn't really clock to your mind, but Frederick can call out on the intercommunication that there's a possible contact. As Frederick, you notice humanoid figures on this small hill. Let's say 6 of them, clad in actually different clothes. They do not have like the same, like, you know, black cloak, dark cloak, but they're like, one of them is wearing, you know, like doctor's garb. The another one is looking, you know, like your typical farmer civilian. The third one looks like a mechanic. You know, they seem to be, there's no immediate no immediate like fucking hell, what's the word I'm looking for? Point of similarity between all of them. Until you notice something else, and you notice the element they are standing around, because they are